Carlos and Charlie's was really just a sea of humanity. They were coming in droves. It wasn't uncommon to have several thousand people come through the doors on a Saturday in the summertime. I think our capacity with everything going was 6,000 or 7,000 people at one time, and there were several times it reached that. I've described it as basically one of your spring break movies, in real life. Everybody laughing, having a good time, lots of food, lots of cold beer, lots of live music, just a real party atmosphere. Typically what you would see is you can see the water line on the pillars behind me. When this area was full, part of the marina that's next to us was actually in this cove with us. So it would not be uncommon for there to be 150 boats tied up to these docks and the surrounding docks, and just almost a plethora of people marching up. And we used to watch about 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. You would just see them flocking in from all directions on the water. There would be a line coming in the parking lot, a line coming in from every angle on the water, and they'd fill up this area. The balconies would be full. Music, laughter, good times for everybody. And now with the access from the water, that took away just a huge portion of it. And it's not fun to sit on the balcony and look at the dirt. Even the people that came by land came to watch the people that came by water. So it just took the whole ambiance out of the thing, and it wouldn't work that way. It's almost hard to comprehend how many people would be on this property on a weekend. As you drove in, you saw the parking areas and all that. We would run out of parking and have to rent additional property and bus them in. One of the highlights is we actually hired the Beach Boys to come play on the beach, and that was a real appropriate thing for the environment. Lots of people out on the sand with, the quintessential beach band. Probably one of the funnest times we had, or the most fun times we had here. Lots of things like that. Other national bands came through, celebrities, and then just a lot of friends we met over the years. I still see people today that, I remember from seeing them as regulars at Carlos and Charlie's. I've been working on Lake Travis for over 30 years, so I've seen the water go up, I've seen the water go down. I'm an optimist that it's going to come back someday. I kept waiting for that to happen, and then it became inevitable that we couldn't wait any longer. We did a mathematical exercise, and it just didn't make sense to wait and see. We had to make a decision. And so it was pretty tough. Part of me said I wanted to stay and fight it out, and the sensical part of me said sometimes retreat is better. At its peak, we would have probably over 200 people on the payroll, and at any given time there might be 60 to 80 in the building. They would be a wide variety of people, from management that were, full-time career people. We had some career cooks and even wait people, and then we'd have college help in the summertime, a lot of college students, but a variety of people and a variety of roles. Everything from security guards to cooks to people washing dishes. What we're seeing today is, in my opinion, the result of bad management. When people ask me about it, I say that this is bad practices that were failed to be covered up by Mother Nature. The If you'd asked me 15 years ago whether this was even possible, I couldn't have conceived it. I've seen the lake, 20 feet over full. We know that it goes up and down every year, but this is it's a real outlier. It's way out of the box for what we normally see. It's just a waste. I mean, there really wasn't a good reason for this to happen to everybody. It's just a shame is really the best way to put it. I still come to the property to do other business, and it's just depressing. You look at it and you go, a few different decisions several years ago, and none of this would be the way it is today. There are a bunch of interests, and I think there is a balance. From a water standpoint, our big problem is agricultural water. And to me, there's a lot of solutions to it. I don't want to deprive them of water, but I'd like them to value the water the same way we value the water so that their practices get better. They can do that through pricing. They can do that through their own practices. But there's not a real good reason for the agricultural community to conserve or to even, just make good judgments with the water. It's so easy for them to get when it's available, and it's so inexpensive that there's not a good incentive to drive for better practices. And somehow we need to give them that incentive to make the practices better. And it would help us all. I mean, I understand it's a tough problem. We're weighing our interests against somebody else's interest. There's got to be a happy medium, and I think just some common sense changes to the process would minimize these abnormal conditions.